Amen. Now, some of you have noticed that I have a vanity license plate with the letters Homburg, Homburg. Now, I am periodically asked about its meaning because it isn't a word that you would obviously connect to me. As I explained to those who ask, Homburg is a small city that my family and I lived in our time in Germany from 1993 to 1995. Now, Homburg's name is technically Homburg Saar because Homburg is not an uncommon town name. Think of how many Washingtons there are, and how many Portlands there are, and how many Rochesters there are in various states. So there's lots of Homburgs as well. The most famous city of Homburg is found in the area that used to be called Prussia, towards the northeastern part of Germany, where the brimmed, round-topped men's hat, called the Homburg hat, in case you ever wondered how it got that name, was first made. Anyhow, within Homburg Saar, there are several villages that were formerly independent towns. We lived in one of those villages called Jägersburg, because it was the site of a hunting lodge, Jäger means hunter, of a long-dead nobleman. Now, obviously, Jägersburg is too long to fit on a license plate. So I went with Homburg. Now, like many German villages, Jägersburg had many small businesses. At least one butcher, their Metzgerei, a small grocery store, think kind of a mini Aldi, and of course, their Bäckerei, or bakery. Now, Frau Geimer's Bäckerei was directly across from our apartment, and like many of my fellow citizens of Jägersburg, I fell into the habit of getting up early and walking across the street to buy the best bread in the world. There were the standard delicious breads baked every day, and each day there was a bread of the day. And my favorite bread was called Sonnenbrot. It was a Monday special bread. I looked it up. It's a mixture of wheat flour, rye flour, sunflower oil, and sunflower seeds. And I am no longer ashamed to say it was so good that by the end of Monday, and sometimes even by lunch, there was none left. I could not help but go back those 30 years in my own life to my experience with hungering for bread made every day rich and delicious, as I studied and prepared for today. Now, we began last week with Jesus' feeding of the 5,000 and his walking on water. Today we hear the response of the people, called the crowd, to his feeding of them and to his mysterious disappearance from one side of the Sea of Galilee to the other. The people, despite having had all their physical hunger taken care of, still seem to have trouble putting it all together. Now, Jesus calls them out, suggesting that they only care about their physical needs, which Jesus filled, not about all the other, more important spiritual needs that Jesus has come to satisfy. They just don't know what they are missing, so to speak. They remember God's providing manna in the wilderness after God brought them out of slavery, and they attribute that provision to Moses. In that case, as depicted in our first reading, God had brought them out of enslavement by Pharaoh, and the people quickly forgot that miracle and whined about their hunger. The crowd now, in Jesus' time, saw the signs Jesus had performed, yet, like their ancestors, they didn't get it. They weren't satisfied. So to try to use an image the people could understand, Jesus used an image that has been used time and time again to represent the basic need that all humans have: bread. Bread is the basic food of life. Even for people like me who limit their content of wheat-based bread, there is something about bread, any kind of bread, that fills both a psychological and physical need, and it causes me to seek alternatives. And so as Jesus tries to respond to the people who keep demanding more signs, I can almost hear and see Jesus sighing and rolling his eyes as he says, "I am the bread of life." I really can't blame either the ancient Hebrew people or the people of Jesus' day, because I am one of them. I know, I believe, I have faith that Jesus came from heaven to give life to the world, and I have experienced the signs in my own life, and yet still I hunger for Jesus, yet make other activities in my life priorities rather than allowing space for Jesus to fill that hunger. One of the suggestions that has been done is to remember our baptism daily and thank God whenever we touch water, whether we shower, whether we drink water, whether we enjoy a pool or lake on a hot summer day, or whether we simply wash our hands. What if we use that same idea to remember Jesus, the bread of life and the filler of our spiritual hunger? What if we intentionally thought of Jesus every time we encounter our daily bread? When we eat our breakfast cereal or toast, when we eat a sandwich or hot dog or hamburger, when we have a gyro or a taco, we can integrate our spiritual nourishment when we remember our baptism as we encounter water, and then we remember our salvation as we encounter bread. Yes, we can remember Jesus, the bread of life, every day, too. Jesus called on the people to believe in him and satisfy their spiritual hunger through him. And I think that is why part of the basic fabric of Christian faith community is to offer its members the opportunity to fill that hunger for the bread of life in various ways. Here we have Bible studies, we have prayer opportunities, and of course we have the weekly coming together in worship. We offer daily devotional books for those who find those resources helpful. And as a Christian faith community, we support one another's spiritual feeding by providing opportunities and resources to enrich our faith according to our needs. Now, this fall, we are beginning a new ministry which invites us as Jesus people to intentionally pray for another in this community. I know many of us use the prayer list in the bulletin as part of our daily prayers. Now, our new ministry, called the Secret Prayer Partner Ministry, introduced to me by our member Sandy Sitman, is yet another way to grow our spiritual lives as community. By signing up for this ministry, you will be given the name of someone who has also signed up, and you will pray for them. Someone else will have your name, and although you don't know who it is, you will know someone is praying for you. When I was a member of Atonement Lutheran Church in Racine, Wisconsin, I was active, but I hadn't joined any of the programs offered which were designed to feed the members with Jesus, the bread of life. One Sunday in his sermon, Pastor Warren Williams made an appeal to the congregation to prayerfully consider joining a 6-week study he was teaching, which focused on different ways to encounter God. I realized at that time in the pew, Pastor Williams was speaking to me. I joined the study, and yes, I was fed with ways to grow in spiritual life that are still benefiting me today. So in a sense, I'm making a similar appeal to you. I invite you to consider trying a way you haven't tried before to feed yourself with Jesus, the life of the world. It may be to join the Wednesday Bible study on Zoom, where we study the Bible readings for the coming Sunday. It may be to join the Living Vine Bible study on the third Monday of the month in Shepherd Hall. It may to become a secret prayer partner. It may be to join the group that prays together each Friday on Zoom for about a half an hour, prays for the world Jesus came to save. It may be to use a daily devotional. And if none of those opportunities touch you, talk to me. Let's find something that you're looking for, some way you need to be fed. Now, the Secret Prayer Partner Ministry is a 1-year commitment, but the other opportunities, you come when you can. You try one and see if it fits. Now, I'm going to close here. I've gone longer than I usually do. So until next week, when we continue to talk about Jesus, the bread of life, amen.